Hey, what's up, podcast? It's Jeff. Just want to jump in here. This is a special bonus episode of Teach Better Talk. This is actually going to be the audio recording from a Facebook Live that our team is doing every single day, Monday through Friday, at 8 a.m. Eastern Time in our Facebook private group. You can get in that group at teachbettergroup.com or go on to Facebook and just search Teach Better Team. You'll see our page and then you'll see the group. Get in there. So here we go, a special bonus episode of Teach Better Talk pulled from one of our Facebook Live videos in our private group at teachbettergroup.com. Hope you enjoy.
Josh from the Teach Better team, and I'm here with the one, the only Nick Mann from Teacher Fit. He was in Virginia. I actually asked him to come on, and I thought he was still in Virginia, but he's in California, so it is nice and early. It's like 5 a.m. where he is right now. So first of all, I want to thank Nick for waking up so early to join us. But Nick, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing very well. I appreciate you having me on the show. It's good to be up at 5 a.m., get my day started and join the daily drop-in. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a great group, and we've been talking to a lot of educators. We've had a lot of administrators on, and just so you know, I am checking the feed on my phone. I'm not texting, I promise. But yeah, this is really exciting to have you on because honestly, we've been talking to a lot of administrators and a lot of educators, and we've been talking a lot about like the practicality of lessons and delivering instruction. And we've touched on a little bit of things people need to do for self-care, but I feel like fitness, mental health, and some of those things are really, really important. So I do want to say, hey, Megan, hey, Alex. Then we got some people joining in here saying hi. So I really was excited when you were going to come on because you literally run a business that works with teachers and keeping them healthy. And you work with schools and districts across the country in a digital format so that they can do that on their own. So I feel like you're perfectly kind of set up to be giving some advice and some value to our PLN this morning. Whether you're listening now or you're listening on the podcast later, Nick's going to bring some amazing value this morning. So how's the weather in California now? Because it's probably better than Ohio, by the way.
Definitely better than Ohio. One of the major perks, I think it's somewhere between, 55 and 75 every day, all day, and
amazing.
Sunny. There is this thing, when I got out here, it was cloudy and rainy for like a week straight, and I was like, someone lied to me. I moved out here. I was told it was beautiful year-round, and it's raining. What is going on? But it's rebounded. It's won me back, and it's definitely a lot better.
You were sold a lie.
Right?
That's so funny. Oh, man, that's amazing. That is awesome. So I want to say hello to Holly. We got some other people dropping in right now. I'm going to make sure I can get on the comments here so I can see them all. Brienne, how are you doing? So I really kind of want to get into, we've had some blog posts on our blog. We've had some basic resources on taking advantage of some additional time that people have. I'm hearing a bunch of stuff in my feed. Hey, I feel like people are in two camps, and you can tell me if you're kind of seeing this too with your PLN. Like people are like, wow, I finally have the time to commit to myself that I've always wanted, so I'm going to commit to myself. And then I feel like there's this other camp of people that's like, I've never been given permission to do nothing. I'm going to take advantage of that. And I don't want to say nothing. I actually said that completely wrong because I know teachers aren't doing nothing. Please don't send me angry emails for that statement. We'll clip that out, right? But like I have, no matter what situation you're in, unless you're like an emergency healthcare worker or like someone that's like really grinding right now, and like most teachers have kind of set up their digital classrooms at this point, hopefully, or they've kind of settled in. And the chances are like you don't have to go to work. You don't have to be in a building for 6 hours a day. There's a much more flexible schedule, hopefully, for you. So like now, in my opinion, is a great time to take advantage of that. I feel like some people are taking advantage of that. I know Dave Schmidow, myself, Jeff Guggis, like we did like the Teacher 26, Teacher 100, like sort of things like that. But there's also like this I just want to do nothing because I haven't done nothing in a really long time and take advantage of that. So what's a good first step of just kind of evaluating this extra time and putting those self-care routines in place? That was a lot of stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I think that last statement is the most valuable, and the key word being routine, right? We are now establishing kind of the new normal now that, this is kind of continuing to go on longer than we were maybe originally anticipated, or a lot of us thought, oh, we're going to be going back to school. When I was in Virginia before I headed out, they had already canceled school in March for the remainder of the year. So that was the new normal, right? We're going to have a digital platform. We're not going back into school this year. And I think more and more states are now in that same boat. So if you're an individual that started out like, hey, I just want to do maybe nothing, we're now transitioning to, okay, the new normal is we're not going back in. So establishing that new routine of, I've taken that time to practice self-care, to maybe just relax, to Netflix and chill. Maybe you already binge watch Tiger King with your family, whatever it may be. You've tried some TikTok dances, and now it's like, okay, what can I actually do to take care of myself? And it's establishing those new routines, those new habits, and holding yourself accountable as a professional educator, as a individual who values self-care, to establish those routines and stick to them every single day. I think the people that are going to have the most problem with their mental health, their social, their emotional health, whether it's connecting with students or taking care of themselves, connecting with family, are the people that are just kind of like, I'll get up whenever, maybe I'll work out sometime, maybe I'll call my fellow teachers, maybe I'll check in with my students. But the people that are really going to thrive and succeed during this time, and maybe even take themselves to the next level or even higher, are the people that are like, no, here's my schedule. I've got my schedule built just like I would on a normal work day. I am a professional. This is how I'm going to conduct myself. I wake up just like, I did this morning. I put on normal clothes. I put my shoes on at 4:30 a.m. to start my day as a professional and hold myself to these routines. And I think that's going to be key.
I love it, man. We've been talking a ton about routines in terms of planning and outreach for students, setting up that schedule or routine. And there's also a difference between I think schedule is really important, but I think some people thrive on like priorities and setting those as opposed to like time frames, right? And I think as long as you have those things set up, you're going to be more successful. And I think it's about planning the off time as much as it's about planning the on time, right?
Correct.
So if you want to start your day and start checking email at 10 instead of 9 or 8 a.m., that's fine. But what are you doing with this extra 2 hours? It can't just be, I'm just going to sit and do nothing for these 2 hours. Can I get a walk in? Can I make sure I'm getting a good start to my day? So Megan just said, sticking to my daily workout routine has been key for me. The one thing keeping me sane and my stress level down. I know I'm going to let you expand on that a little bit here in a second, but I know I've read a ton of research that says like the best thing you can do to relieve stress is literally work out. Whether it's in your home or a lot of states allow, I run outside by myself, like that's perfectly okay and not like putting anyone in danger. And so one of the best things you can do to reduce stress is work out. Also,
absolutely,
one of the best things you can do to fight respiratory disease is have a healthy respiratory system. I'm not saying that that's a perfect solution because I
don't think we're talking enough about that.
But I've read a ton of articles that's like, listen, if you're stronger as a person, you're going to be able to fight this off if you get it more effectively. And I'm not going to say that's the case for everyone. I just read a story about an Ironman that was one of the first cases that Ironman athlete that was one of the first cases that had it, but he beat it. I'm guessing because the dude runs like 50 miles every other day or whatever. So if you're making yourself stronger, even if it's stronger than you were a week ago, you're literally setting yourself up to be less stressed, and you're setting yourself up to be more resilient. Your immune systems are going to be increased. So I know you probably have 10 times more information than I do about that stuff as a personal trainer and as a having a degree in those things. But could you talk about some of the benefits to making the decision? I do want to get to nutrition too, but for physical activity, a minimal level or an increase in physical activity, and what are the benefits that can have for an educator or a professional, even in lockdown right now?
I mean, the benefits are endless, right? I mean, we could sit here. I can't quote research or anything else, but
no, you don't need to.
Just on a basic human level, getting up, moving, elevating the heart rate early in the morning, whenever is convenient for you, getting sweat going, just like you said, getting outdoors, getting sunlight onto your eyes, onto your body. Your body is going to naturally respond to these occurrences that happen and release, hormones, and your body is going to operate as it should and increase, your ability to be present, to be aware throughout the rest of the day. We all have experience just on a human level of doing that Netflix and chill, on a Saturday, and you sit there for hours and you get up and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened today?
Yeah.
But even on the mornings you don't want to, or the days you don't want to, you're like, hey, I'm going to go outside and go for a walk. You're never going to be upset. After you get done, you're like, oh, I really shouldn't have done that. No, it's like, oh my God, I feel so much better. So your mental clarity, your physical state, your health, all those things benefit, not to mention like you said, the benefits of respiratory health, of going for a jog, going for a walk, putting yourself through a high intensity interval workout, practicing yoga, whatever it may be, just having that in your routine, once, twice, 3 times a week is important. Something I talked about on another podcast yesterday was we're not looking for perfection right now, right? There's a lot of things changing. There's a lot of things going on, whether it's social, online learning and working on your own wellness. We're looking for progress. So establishing that routine, establishing that daily habit that you can just do something to make yourself better today. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just like your classes aren't going to be perfect for your students. There's going to be kids that aren't paying attention online. The computers are going to freeze, all this craziness, but just make that progress every day. And that's what we want to achieve right now.
I love it, man. I just want to say hi to Chris Collins, Barb Baker, and Alex Valensek, who always checks us out in the morning. So one of the most useful things that he's learned to do is when he's being pulled in all these different directions is saying, I can do that, but it will take away my time from doing X, Y, or Z. Which is more important? He's actually talking about getting pulled in from external sources. I think we have to have that exact same conversation, Alex, with just since he's the one who made the comment, with ourselves, right? So like, what's more important, like laying in bed for 20 more minutes or getting a productive physiological start to your day? Because I can tell you right now, everyone in my house knows if I got my running in the morning, because it's the same thing as if I didn't get my coffee. Like I'm more anxious, I'm more stressed. I'm thinking about like, I didn't get out this morning. Like I feel lazier. And I love what you talked about. If you've been sitting on the couch, you've been binging and you've been relaxing with all your free time. So I want to hedge this out a little bit. Let's assume that everyone's kind of working during the day, right? Like, and still doing their daily routine. But now let's be honest, outside of what should be your work day. So like early morning, afternoons should have more free time, because let's be honest, most people can't go anywhere.
Right.
Most people can't socially gather, right? So you're either stuck at home watching TV or reading or doing things like that, or you are, I don't know what, because you can't do anything else. So, so the real reality is like we do have more time. It's just a matter of what we do with that time. And something you said that really resonated with me is, have you ever been sitting so long that you're tired from napping? You're tired from resting. And it's literally like your body's telling you, look, this is us now. Like, this is what we do. Like, I'm used to this state of rest. And it just takes a moment. So let me ask you this. What's one piece of advice? And I know I have my thoughts in this, but I want to hear it from you because you'll say it better than me. I want to say hi to Adam. He's checking in, by the way. If I've been sitting here relaxing and I'm in that mode that you're talking about, I've literally been just trying to I'm stressed. We're all super high, anxious. And I'm just I just can't deal with the world. Right. what's something I can do either today or tomorrow morning to break that cycle? Like because like I just personally ran like a virtual marathon. I run all the time. You probably have your daily workout and do tons of stuff. This is part of our daily routines. Like, so that's not something that's going to have to change a lot. But for someone who wasn't necessarily active before, has been in this mindset, what are some really realistic and beneficial, like just first steps they can take to just starting to get themselves active so they can get some of the benefits you just shared with everybody?
Yeah, I think the easiest thing, and obviously it's important when making a lifestyle change to make things easy, to make things fun, to make things achievable, 100%. Right? Because if we go out and we say, I'm going from the couch to I'm going to start running with Chad and do a marathon. Like, obviously it's not going to happen.
You're going to fail.
For most people. Yeah. Right. So I think that, that early morning walk as soon as the sun comes up, or, as you're batching your work, obviously you have meetings with your students or staff meetings. As soon as those are done, maybe they're 45 minutes, they're an hour, they're 90 minutes long, whatever it is, like, okay, I'm going to take a short break and I'm going to go outside and go for a walk, or I'm going to do a short breathing practice or listen to a meditation. There are tons of high quality meditation apps on, your phone that you can download. Just do a 5-minute guided meditation for your mental health and just allow you to calm down. Maybe that staff meeting on Zoom was going crazy and you're just overwhelmed and stressed. And that 5 minutes of you time to breathe, to relax, whether that's walking or sitting on your couch with headphones in, just to kind of disconnect. Those are the little things you can do right now, today, after we get off the daily drop-in, that will start you headed in the right direction.
Nick Mann dropping the gauntlet right after daily drop-in. Every single one watching right now or watching later, you're going to do something, and it's going to make you a little bit better. I love it.
Yes, tag us.
Yeah. So tag Teacher Fit, tag Teach Better. We want to see what you're doing after this live drop-in or after listening to this on the podcast, like what you're going to do. So Andrea, I want to say, hey, she's dropping in with baby Luke. That actually reminds me, a bunch of people are stuck at home with their kids, right? I'm stuck at home with my entire family. I have 4 kids and my wife, and we're just hanging out all the time. And like that carries its own stress.
Absolutely.
And something we've been doing, I do my own thing to get my own me time. Something we've been doing to release some of the kids' energy and the family's energy is like afternoon walks. So when I break for like a quick 15, 20-minute lunch, like I'll tack on 30 minutes of that to just go outside, stretch, get up from the computer and things like that. And luckily we all have Apple Watches and fitness trackers and things like that. They'll tell us to get up once an hour anyway, but you got to take care of yourself. So I think the exercise is a great, at least the way I see it. It's a great way to like think about your day, to reflect, to relax, and set yourself up for success. I mean, go ahead. You're going to say something.
Yeah. And everyone is home with their family, right? And the benefit of that, the positive, is that you have those forced accountability partners, whether that's your 5-year-old son or your spouse that typically you're away from each other all day. You have that person that, can hold you accountable, and you can hold them accountable to go for that walk, to do that afternoon workout, whatever it may be. And it's always easier to achieve something when you have that partner. So grab that person, like, hey, every day at 4 p.m., we're going to go for our 30-minute walk and we're going to talk to each other. It's going to be wild.
So like, that's a great point. So I love that you mentioned that. So Joe Gonzalez just said, yes, my 4 and 5-year-old are full of energy. I think a lot of people are just really feeling that stress right now. Like, we all love our kids. We all love that we can spend more time with our family, but like, we all also get to that point where like, oh man, like this is a lot. So
yeah, this is not what I signed up for.
Well, it kind of is what we signed up for, but it's not in this degree, right? Like this level of just like, I'm actually being somewhere. So that's awesome. So someone's doing a long trail run. Holly Stewart rocking out a trail run. I love that. Holly, we should do some digital runs, I think. We should do a co-sponsored like digital race, like Teacher Fit, Teach Better, something.
Yes.
I don't know.
Let's do it.
after this is we're going to talk about that. That's exciting.
Yeah. I had another thought on the accountability partners that I wanted to share.
Yeah.
Because some people, and I know I have friends that are in this scenario, are quarantined by themselves. And I think although it is stressful to have family and kids, being alone during this time, completely alone and isolated, can definitely be stress. I know we have a lot of young professional educators. Excuse me.
Great point.
So the benefit of technology, hop on that FaceTime call, hop on, a Facebook video chat and go for a walk with a friend or a co-teacher or someone else that is alone. I think that can be super powerful too. So don't feel like you're isolated and you can't reach out. Obviously, technology is here to help us. There are benefits and negatives to it, but let's use it for a benefit in this scenario.
I love it. So apparently a bunch of people are super on board with our idea.
Let's do it.
Brianna said that'd be cool. Run t-shirts for the win.
We'll have to get some fancy medal. People love medals.
Oh, of course. We'll actually do hand sanitizers on a rope. That's what we'll do.
Perfect.
Perfect. COVID-19 teacher run.
It's a 19K run.
Exactly. Adam Cotto says, I take 2 walks a day, approximately 1 to 2 miles per walk. Just got bikes, so that's a new routine for us. So awesome. How cool is that? So Adam Cotto is sitting there going, this wasn't part of our life. This wasn't part of our routine, but it is now. And this is something that we've been talking a lot about with a lot of teachers, is that when you go back to what we consider normal, you don't have to be the same person you were, right? You can be a better version of yourself, whether it's in the classroom as a professional. You now have all these new tools and abilities to go back with. But if you've changed your routine to be a better physical person, and you talk about this all the time, right? So if you're more fit and you're feeling better about yourself, and I'm not talking about numbers on the scale. I'm literally talking about, do you feel better about yourself? Are you more physically active? Is your body working better than it did when you started this, right? If you go back to your profession in August or whenever your school opens back up and you have these routines set, they shouldn't go away. You can just adjust and modify them. But now you're going to be more active. You're going to have more energy in your classroom. You're going to have more energy in things like that. So that's all. And I think that's sort of the mindset behind Teacher Fit. So I'm going to let you expand on that a bit, because I know you're probably chopping it a bit. So I'd love for you to expand on that. But I really think this is an opportunity for a lot of people, and I want them to take advantage of it.
Yeah, there's a great quote that I've seen a lot through this time, and this is either happening to us or it's happening for us. And I think if we really think about that and how we can use this time, like we've been talking about, to build these habits, to build these routines, to add new things in that we can use going back. I mean, just the use of technology for education. I think for a long time as educators, we were maybe a few steps behind other industries as far as leveraging technology to get the most benefit for our students. And this has been a great time for that. This has been a great time for establishing those routines of walking with our children. Were we doing that enough before? Maybe not. And now, how can we continue to do that? Maybe we establish that mental health routine of mindfulness. Maybe we establish that workout routine that we love at lunch right now. When we go back to school, how can we do that same routine, but maybe at 3:30 or 4:30 in the afternoon, and realize the benefits of it? Or we've been getting up at 7 a.m. currently to do our yoga practice. Maybe I've got to push that back an hour, but I can go to sleep an hour earlier. Figuring out those priorities and seeing the benefits now that we can take back with us to make us that more whole person of mental, physical, emotional health, so that we're the best for ourselves and the best for our students. And it's, I would recommend journaling about it. Hey, what's working for me right now that I can make work for me in August, that I can, start to establish and put in practice? Because we think about it all the time, right? And we can talk about it and we can comment on it in the daily drop-in, but really when, we hit the road, I guarantee there's going to be excitement and enthusiasm in August, but what can we actually put in place in August that's going to carry us through December and January and February and March of all of next school year?
Yeah, man, there's so much awesomeness right there. I'm trying to just categorize it so I can figure out what I want to pull, which string I want to pull on. So thank you for that. One of the things that you've said multiple times that I feel like needs to be said is that it's not just about getting out there and doing a workout. It's not just about doing the physical, but also doing the self-care, the breathing exercises, the meditation, the yoga, right? So like it may come off that way because of the way I've been saying things. I'm not as good at saying things as you are, especially when it comes to this stuff. But like, it's about that self-care so that you can lay the base so you can do more of those other things. And it's not necessarily going to happen overnight. So starting to do a 15-minute yoga session that's not super hard on your joints, on your body, but it's going to give you time to mentally and relieve stress, get some more of that blood flow and stretching going. Like, that's just as beneficial if you can't get out there and do a mile jog. You know what I mean? And I think it's about that self-care and figuring out what works for you. Another thing I want to pull on real quick is that it has to be easy for you. Because if you try to do, and I'm not saying that it's always going to be easy, because working out and improving yourself can be painful. But if it's too difficult for you to fit into your routine, or you're trying to squeeze it in every single day and barely make that in, it's not going to be sustainable when you go back in August. So I also love the reflection of those peoples.
We got a lot of support for this run.
I'm looking at the same thing. Alex is like, I bet you Moon Joggers virtual races would collaborate with Teach Better and Teacher Fit on this event. That's going to be another conversation we have to have, apparently. We're going to have to dig more into that. We got a couple people registering already mentally.
But I love what you were saying about, obviously we've talked about making it easy and figuring out what works now and then. For you, running is easy, right? For me, going out and doing a kettlebell or a dumbbell high intensity workout, love it. Going for a run, love it. But when it comes to yoga, and I assume you're in the same boat as a runner, if I said, hey, Chad, we're going to start doing yoga together on video for 30 minutes a day, it would be super hard. And like, complete transparency, my girlfriend and I, we've been trying to stretch for just 10 minutes a day. And it's a struggle. Like, we do not miss a day of working out. But if we're like, hey, we're going to stretch, we're going to do yoga for 10 minutes, it's like, but we got this going on, right? So, it happens to everyone. But there's also a little bit of, there's a lot of value, but there's definitely value in doing those hard things. So establishing those simple routines, go for your run, but obviously during this time, even more important, take that little extra time to do those things that maybe you didn't want to do before. Do your stretching, go for a little bit, a jog, prep your food, whatever it may be that is going to put you in the right place.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Chad yoga coming up soon.
Oh, dude. I love the challenge of that, because I got to be honest with you. You know this about me because we talked about this on your podcast, how much I hate stretching and yoga. But I truly I truly respect yoga, but I'm really, really bad at it. I don't have the patience, and I'm too lazy to stretch. And I know that there are benefits, but like, that's a perfect example of like, that's something I now have a little bit more time for. Right. So like, me taking the time to slow down and realize I can do that and take the time to get the benefits of that, when, even though it's a little bit uncomfortable, so maybe getting out the door and doing a run's not hard for me, but maybe slowing down and getting that yoga in is the thing that's pushing me. So I actually love that. And I love that you pulled on that string of my weakness of, I look like if the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz tried to do yoga, that's what I look like when I try to do yoga.
Yeah,
like
I know the feeling. Yeah, for sure.
And my wife's actually really good at it. So like, she'll do it every once in a while, and she'll be like, just do this. And I'm like losing my balance and falling over and stuff. And it's not pretty. But if you want to try that, buddy, you just let me know. We'll make it happen.
I'll send you the Teacher Fit yoga class today. I'll send you a gentle one, a beginner's.
Some downward dog or whatever, upward cow or whatever it is. Oh man. Okay. I feel like we've talked a lot about the benefits of being physically active, whether it's yoga, stretching, breathing in the morning, walks all the way through, getting out, doing a hardcore high intensity workout training, running long distances, short distances, jogging, doing whatever, walking with the kids. I feel like we've kind of hit like the benefits of that. I want to switch gears a bit and talk a little bit about nutrition, because you also have some expertise in that, and we haven't even scratched the surface of that awesomeness that you can bring to this conversation. So a lot of people right now are avoiding pants that don't stretch, right? Now I can say I've been happy to like maintain my weight, maybe lose a couple here and there just because I've been in a training cycle. So I'm not too worried about that personally. But a lot of people I'm talking to are going, man, I'm stuck in the house all day. I'm bored eating and just like I'm putting on a couple extra pounds because maybe I'm not working out enough, or maybe I've increased my calorie intake by like 500 calories a day. Now all of a sudden, sure, right? So what are some tips in terms of reflecting on and potentially thinking through, like just evaluating your diet, maybe some logging of your nutrition? I like from a training standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, I'm going to let you take this for a little bit. Like, how do you not overwhelm people and go, be careful you're not overeating? Like, what's a good way to just reflect on, am I eating too much? Should I reduce? Like, how am I feeling about my diet? Like, what's a good first step people can take? Because we know if you're eating poorly, you're performing poorly.
Right.
So, like, I just want you to kind of get your take on that.
Yeah, so it goes in line with everything else we've been talking about with regards to building healthy habits and making it easy, even probably more importantly with nutrition. And this is how I work with all of my teachers. And when we do our courses, this is exactly what we start with. If it's not easy, we all know with eating, we're never going to stick to it, right? There's yo-yo dieting. Yo-yo dieting is the diet, right, of the world. So keeping it easy being, you have to set yourself up for success. So if you know that you are an aggressive snacker, or if there is candy or chocolate or birthday cake in the house, that you are the person that's going to eat it. So what do we need to do? We need to start evaluating what we're bringing into our house, just like what we're bringing into our mind with mental health, right? We need to start evaluating what we're putting in our atmosphere, the atmosphere that we're currently stuck in 24/7.
Sure.
And say, hey, if this isn't serving my goals, my goal of feeling good, of having energy for myself, for my family, for my students, to feeling the way I want to feel, then I'm going to get it out of my house. I'm not going to buy it. When I go to the grocery store, I'm going to focus on nutrient-dense, high-quality foods that grow or live, not something that's completely processed. And I know in uncertain times, there's obviously panic of getting shelf-stable, sustainable foods. But the bad part of that is most of those foods are highly processed and not the best for you. And just like the person just commented, MyFitnessPal is something we use all the time. It's great, just for building self-awareness, right? So during this time, if you just say, hey, I'm not going to make any drastic changes right now, but I'm going to build self-awareness of where I am. So everything I eat today, tomorrow, and the next day, I'm going to log. And if you're eating an enormous amount of calories, or maybe you're under eating, it goes both ways. Or if you're tracking your hydration and, hey, I had 4 ounces of water today, but I had 12 cups of coffee, I'm probably not in the right space with meeting my goals. So building that self-awareness, keeping it easy. If you were to open, my fridge right now, there's definitely going to be, a high quality beer or two in there, but there's also going to be fruits, vegetables, meats, like all of the good foods that I want, because I know,
natural food,
right? If there's high quality food in there, that's what I'm going to eat. But if there's just a bunch of crap, if there was Frosted Flakes in my cabinet right now, my childhood favorite,
gone, right?
the whole box would be gone. So if I could just maintain the discipline enough as I'm circling the aisles in the grocery store to not grab that box, I'm already ahead of the game, right? But if I put all that stuff in my home and I just my whole house is full of snacks and candies and sodas and all these things, I'm going to be in the wrong place. And if we could just do that, if we can focus on eating real, natural, healthy foods in the appropriate quantities, when you start to get full, stop eating, right? When we're Netflix and chilling, when we're feeling like, the Tiger King should have been put in jail, and we're just snacking and snacking and snacking and snacking, and all of a sudden the whole bag of chips is gone, we're probably not in the right place.
Dude, so much awesomeness once again. So I want to pull on a couple of those strings as well. I want to have a couple of those, some of those conversations. The first thing I want to touch on is the fact that like you can control what comes into your house, hopefully. Yep. So if you make those decisions at the grocery store, you're going to have a better choice when you get home. And the good news is like we're limiting our trips outside, guys. So you can't run out and get X, Y, Z, hopefully. Another thing that I want to touch on here is like you talked a lot about natural, like fresh foods, right? Like fresh meat, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, all fresh, rices and grains and things like that. If you have all those available, like you can cook with your family too, and that can be another time where you can bond. So instead of, I'm not saying don't support our restaurants and stuff, but if you're taking out food 3 times, 4 times a week, like
right.
There's probably twice the amount of calories in the meal from the restaurant due to the additional butter and stuff that they add to those things.
All the tasty stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that makes it taste great. Then if you just make that same dish at home, and it's going to cost you a fraction of what it does from the restaurant.
Absolutely.
So I think Veronica Duke, there's a couple comments. Veronica Duke said, yoga can prevent injuries and turn on those muscles to prepare for a workout. That's absolutely correct, Veronica. She also mentioned MyFitnessPal, which you mentioned as well. It's free. I think Under Armour owns it now, actually. So you get some cool ads for some fitness wear and things while you're on it. But like, it's a really great app. I've been using it for like 3-4 years at this point, maybe even longer than that. But even going, hey, I'm just going to write down everything I eat today. Like even the act of just carrying a little notebook, if you want to go no tech, right? I'm going to write down everything I'm eating and about how many calories it has and just doing that equation, right? So I'll let you talk about how many calories a person should have depending on what they want to do with their life. But like you can then evaluate and go, hey, I'm eating 4,000 calories a day. Like that's probably why my pants don't fit anymore versus, you know what I mean? Or on the opposite end, you know what? I've been so busy and so stressed, I'm not eating, which is the other side. And that's why I feel super low energy. If I'm only eating 1,200 calories a day, but I'm doing my workout in the morning and I'm pushing myself and I'm super stressed out the day and my body's burning, 2,500 calories a day, like I'm probably going to feel like crap. Or if you're grabbing all that low quality food, like you talked about, you're fueling with things that are inadequate. Right. So I think just tracking is a great first start. Watching that binge eating and snacking while you're watching TV. I know a really common thing that I hear is like, get a small bowl instead of a whole bag, right? Put some stuff in a bowl and then you're done when that's done. So great stuff, man. So I don't want to keep you here. Go ahead.
Just to expound on, we talk about making it easy, and the same thing applies with the things that you don't want to consume. Make them hard. Just like you said, if you don't buy them at the store, I am not saying don't have your glass of wine. I am not saying don't have your chocolate that you love. I want you to have those things because when you have them, it'll allow you again to stay consistent and be happy and be excited about what you're doing on the other end of the spectrum, eating the healthy food. So, but don't make it so easy, right? So don't buy it. So if I want to have a high quality beer from one of the lovely breweries in San Diego, I'm not going to keep it in the fridge, right? I'm going to say, hey, I've got to get up, get dressed, go out of the house, get my keys, drive to wherever I'm going to buy this. I got to pick it up. And that's a hard thing to do if I don't want it that bad, right? It's going to give me that 3-5 minutes, maybe a couple moments of clarity that says, do I really need that froyo on Wednesday when I had it on Tuesday? Maybe not. So I'm going to stay at home. Instead, I'm going to have some strawberries and almond butter or something like that that I already had. And it just gives you that break, that time to consider what you're doing. And if you want it, by all means, go and get it. But hopefully when you think about it, maybe you don't need it as bad as you thought you did, and you can have a healthier substitute that is more in line with your goals.
I love that, man. I love the fact that you're mentioning have the substitute available, not the bad choice, right? So if it's a sweet tooth, like fruit and peanut butter is like, or nut butter is like one of the best, most natural, like vitamin rich, nutrient rich things you can have, right? Like yogurt and fruit, things like that, granola on hand, like things like that. So I love the fact that there's these healthy alternatives that can kind of solve your brain's need for that sweet, or maybe it's that salty, or like whatever you need. Like find that alternative. I also love make hard choices more difficult to obtain, and like give yourself the grace to be okay with having those things, but don't make it easy to obtain them. And I actually love that as like a mental exercise. So like if you're at the store, don't grab that 150 calorie beer, leave it at the store. So I'm not saying go out again if you don't have to, but like that's a barrier now, right? Like that's not easy to obtain. That's a really, really great tip that I think a lot of us can do. Control what you bring in. And I think a lot of this comes down to, I'm going to try to kind of circle back to like wrap up this thing, because I don't want to keep you here all morning. It's still early. And I truly appreciate your time. I think a lot of this comes down to controlling what you can, whether it's working out or whether it's nutrition. I think a lot of this comes down to control. I know for me personally, sticking to my workouts and my training cycle and my diet is things that I can control right now. Because right now, you will stress out if you're thinking about all the things you can't control. You will stress out if you're thinking about, my district hasn't told me what we're doing for the rest of the year. You will stress out if you're saying, my district hasn't told me what I need to do with my students for the next 3 weeks. You'll stress out if you're going, are they going to close schools? What's going to happen? Am I safe? Is my family safe? When are we going to go back? Are we going to go back? If you just focus all on like these uncontrollable, unknown things, you are going to absolutely destroy yourself and burn out, right? It's about mentally, from a psychological and emotional standpoint, focusing on things you can control. And from my perspective, Nick, I'm sure you're going to agree and expand on this a bit. You can control what you do with your time, whether it's working out, stretching, and you can control what you put into your body. Most of the time, you can control, and you have control of that. Heather Clement said it adds to the threat factor when it takes more effort to obtain those high calorie. Oh, it adds to the treat factor. Treat factor. Sorry, I totally misread that. So that's a great point too, right? So if you have to work, that's a great. Heather also said cooking can be a release, but you can cook healthy options. I would argue most of the time, if you're cooking a meal instead of going and getting it, the nutrient density is going to be higher and the quality is going to be higher and it's going to be healthier. I can't guarantee it as long as you're not like putting 3 sticks of butter in with the broccoli or whatever. But like overall, compared to the restaurant recipe or the pickup or the packaged food, if you're cooking, you're doing something with your time. You're being productive. My wife loves to cook. I'm really happy that she's really good at that. But seriously, if you take the time to get the ingredients over the finished product, I think that's going to go a long way too.
Absolutely.
But back to control. So I want to kind of close this out. Dave Schmedow is joining us in the comments right now. Dave is fantastic. He's actually the one who started the Teacher 26K and the Teacher 100K,
awesome.
100 Ultra thing. So he's super into fitness. I think he's actually, Dave, I know you're watching. I think he's running a virtual marathon in the next couple weeks or in the next couple days. So good luck with that if you can hear me, buddy. But let's talk about control. I'm going to wrap all this up because I don't want to keep you here for 3 hours, even though I would love to talk to you for 3 hours, just so we're fully aware.
I mean, it's only 5:45 for me, so I got plenty of time.
Still got to get that workout in probably, right? May 25th, Dave's running that marathon. Dave, that's awesome. Maybe I'll try to run it virtual with you or something. That'd be cool. So let's wrap this up. If you could have a parting notion with taking back control of your life, what you're doing, so that you can be the most productive, best version of yourself in and out of the classroom, what are your what's your go-to message for everyone watching right now?
I think right now I want to restate that quote that I had earlier of this is either happening to me or for me.
Love it.
And obviously in this scenario, we can look on the negative and, think about all the things that are becoming more difficult, right? Or we can focus on the positive, get that mental health aspect going. Like, okay, this is a great opportunity for me, a great opportunity for my students, for my family. And we're really going to take advantage of this to get more active, to learn how to cook, to teach my kids how to cook healthy food, to, whatever it may be, whatever aspect that you need to improve on, for Chad to start improving his yoga practice, all those things. We're going to use this, scenario for development, for growth, as opposed to letting it hold us back to, feel sorry for ourselves. We're going to continue to move forward, developing ourselves, making ourselves the best version of us. So when we do receive that call that we're going back to school this year, or we're headed back in August, that we are now in a place much better than we were before, for ourselves, for our students, mentally, emotionally, physically, so that when we walk into that classroom, we've got energy, we've got momentum, we've got all these things going for us that are going to set us up for success, to have the greatest impact on our students that we can have when we're given that opportunity.
Dude, I love it, man. That literally just embodies the entire Teach Better mindset, everything you just said, right? This isn't happening to you. Even if it is, it's not happening to you, but the way you need to look at it is that it's happening for you. It's an opportunity to improve. It's an opportunity to be better. So Nick, real quick, for those listening on the Teach Better Talk podcast, those listening right now live, if they want to learn more about Teacher Fit, if they want to learn more about things that you do, I'm going to give you just a second to share a little bit about where they can find additional resources. Because Let me be honest, everybody listening right now, Nick is an amazing resource. You can find him on Twitter and all these social media outlets. I just want to give him a chance to share some of that awesomeness and where you can get some of his information. So I'm going to give you the floor for a second.
Yeah, I appreciate it. First off, it's been great to chat. If people want to follow us on Instagram, TeacherFit_online, on Facebook, TeacherFit, Twitter, TeacherFit, I believe it's 19. But if you just search for TeacherFit, we'll be on there. We're actually giving away all of our programs right now for free till basically the end of the school year.
Dude. That's awesome.
You can get email access. So if you go to our social media platforms, you can find those links. In Instagram, there's a link in the profile. You can sign up for free email access Monday or Sunday night through Thursday night. All of our programs come out. Our mental health program, our yoga program, our fitness program. We're actually doing a live workout today at noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. my time.
Nice.
Body weight workout on Instagram with our body weight coach, Gina. If you want to hop into that.
Heck yeah.
And then we actually have our May challenge coming up. So it's going to be 31 days of fitness, mindfulness, nutrition challenges. And then we're going to have also guest speakers coming on each week to talk about nutrition, fitness, leadership during this time, all sorts of different topics. We've got some cool people coming on. So that's coming up as well.
Dude, so much awesome value and free stuff from Teacher Fit right now. See, I wasn't even aware that the amount of awesomeness we were going to be able to provide, because every morning, daily drop-in, 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern, we've been here sharing free downloads. If you go to teachbetter.com/distance-learning-tools, we have a bunch of free downloads from Teach Better as well. But now, what you just said, man, is if you want to be a better teacher, if you want to get some resources, if you want to focus on your planning and your profession, you can hit Teach Better. But if you want to focus on yourself and improve yourself and get some of those benefits, you could read a couple blogs from the Teach Better website, but you could also go hit up Teacher Fit, because they got tons of amazing resources available right now. I highly, highly recommend you go check them out. Plus, I want to just say, he didn't know I was going to say this, but Nick's an awesome dude to talk to. He does respond to messages on Twitter if you just need some help or you need that connection. He's absolutely fantastic to reach out to via the Teacher Fit challenge. So keep an eye out for that. So I'm going to thank everybody for participating. I want to thank you guys for stopping by on the Daily Drop-In, whether you're listening now, later, or listening on the podcast. Make sure you check out TeacherFit. Make sure you check out all of the free resources we have here at teachbetter.com. Thank you guys. Have an amazing day and stay awesome. Have a great morning, everybody.
See you guys.